My own experience that Oman is an amazing country. In my mind, the word that explains Oman is unexpected. I was lucky enough to be on a famil last November with 30 or so travel agents. Beautiful beaches, we saw turtle nesting, we took yacht rides and we saw dolphins, we went into the desert. Traditional country, and it was so quiet and calm, and I don't think I've ever travelled anywhere I've felt so safe.
So, ahlan wa sahlan, welcome to Oman. Oman is actually quite a unique destination in the sense that it fuses Arabic culture with African culture and Indian culture. But once people have a taste of Oman, they realise, hang on, I need to come back here for a longer stay. So where we first started to see people travelling out of Australia for 4 days, it grew to 7 days, and lately we've been getting walk-ins for 3 weeks. It's fine arabesque curved lines, white stucco buildings, with a contrasting blue sea and mountain range. It's absolutely magical and serenely peaceful, despite it being the capital city. This is Wahiba Sands, Ashakia. This is where most of the desert camps are located, and the sand dunes get to about 150 metres in height. And I know that a lot of people say to me, oh, but we're Australians, we have beaches. I'm like, yeah, but these are pristine, clean waters with turtles, with a coral reef, with all sorts of Nemo and friends. And, and there's nobody jumping over your towel. There are no hotels to ruin the scenery. It's just you and nature. It's just beautiful. Sumhurum is thought to be the palatial ruins of the Queen of Sheba. So she apparently was really addicted to frankincense, that she decided to make her palace in this area. Again, this is a rumor, but I like to believe in these myths and legends. I love all those adventures of Sinbad, who also is an Omani from Soha. There's a massive draw card for those who are going to Europe during the hotter months. You can actually go down to Salalah, where it's about 15 to 20 degrees, and experience these amazing UNESCO sites, as well as the great valleys and waterfalls of the regions. So it's magical. So this is the Bakhla Fort. It does look pretty zhuzhy and new right now. That's only because it was restored. However, the foundations do come from the 12th century. An example of the Wet and Wild of Oman, Falaj systems, that you can see throughout Oman. Clean water, it's amazing. And this is Al Balid Archaeological Park in the south, again in Salalah, that you can visit as well, predated from the Neolithic times. Despite the Omani Rial being so strong, the standard of living is relatively low. So to give you an example, a cup of coffee is about 40 cents. To eat outside of your resort in a restaurant for 2 people, you're looking at an extravagant Arabic feast for $15. Visas are very easy. You can, if you're flying in via Abu Dhabi, you do need to apply for a visa upon arrival at the TravelX counter. It's issued on the spot and it costs only $15. So it's very simple. However, if you fly in via Dubai and you happen to have an entry stamp on your passport, you do not require a visa for Oman. Year-round temperatures is 28 degrees. It's a dry heat, it's not a humid, sticky heat. Currently, for example, it's winter and it's -7 degrees up in the mountains. It's snowing. But you can't go skiing, don't get excited. It's just certain parts, don't go selling that. But that's how dramatic the weather is. It's so different in different parts of Oman. Sharia law doesn't govern Oman. Women are empowered to work, to drive, to boss their husbands around. It's normal.
Interestingly enough, I've experienced things like ladies' weddings, 500 women in a ballroom entertaining themselves for a wedding, you know, fun things like that that you never really knew about. All in their abayas, and then once they get into the ballroom, they take off their abayas and they're all dressed lavishly and, you know, have fun, party hard till 4 in the morning, and then we ring a bell, and then in comes the men, so they quickly put on their abayas again, do the cake cutting and photo, and then the men leave, and then the women party on. So it's all women.
So where alcohol is tolerated and allowed in Oman, you could drink alcohol in your hotels and your resorts, bars and clubs exist and things like that. But during Ramadan, some of the places will be given restrictions by the government where they have to be dry. So for a couple of days they may be dry, and something to consider also, some of the desert camps are permanently dry. And again, that's not due to religious reasons. I discovered recently why. I asked why. I said, oh, I understand it's because you're Bedouin and I'm trying to be extra cultured. And they said, no, it's not for that reason. I said, then why are you a dry camp? Nobody wants to drive out here to give us the license. Because they're so remote. So what can you do there? That's the other question I get often. Dhow cruises. So with the Dhow cruises, you can choose to do half-day Dhow cruises or full-day Dhow cruises. In the desert, of course, you can do the camel riding. A lot of the camels though are cheeky, and they're just local wandering nomadic camels that like to stick their heads into your tent. Recently we've been seeing a growth in active adventure sort of markets, and so we're seeing, particularly like we've been seeing it for a while out of Europe, but now we're getting more demands from Australia as well for bike and hike options. The local Bedouins. Coffee is a massive addiction, I'd say, in Oman. You have up to 8 to 10 cups a day easily. The female fashion of the region. It's not the typical black that people expect. And as you can see, this is truly the influence of being a fusion hybrid culture of the Indian influences, the African influences. And just people watching itself is really fascinating because you try to guess what everyone's background is by the way they're dressed and what they're wearing. So what we're recommending is now, in the old days, people used to do 4 days and they thought that's enough. But we're seeing that people are going, I was duped. There's so much to see and do. So we're recommending the 8 days, 7 nights as a great introduction, with options to extend by either spending an additional 3 nights in the south in Salalah and 3 nights in the north in Musandam. And this is the ground of the Grand Mosque. It weighs over 6 tons, it's 29 meters in height. It's made by Swarovski. Swarovski themselves, because they never got to see it fully assembled because they sent parts bits by bits. So when they finally came, when it opened in 2002, they were gobsmacked when they saw it themselves put together. It's absolutely stunning. And this is the view of Muscat, the old port, at night. But see how, as I said, it's very Mediterranean with the white buildings and the blue sea and the mountains. No skyscrapers, no eyesores. And in this area, all within walking distance, are all the traditional museums and galleries. Look, the marketplace is by no means large. Some people who have been to Marrakesh or Istanbul Bazaar, they all go, is this it? And I go, it's an ancient traditional souk. It hasn't been built up for commercial purposes. This is the big draw card, silver. So where many people think that gold is the big thing in Oman, like many of the other Arabian countries around, it's actually silver. So it's a great place for those who enjoy shopping, but save it for the very end so you don't blow all your money in the very beginning. And the men go wild for the kunjas because you can actually buy them and bring them into Australia, as long as they don't exceed over 30 centimeters in length.
This is Nizwa Fort, built in 1649 by the second Imam, Imam Sultan bin Saif al-Yarabi. He was elected as Imam in 1640. So it was built in 12 years for protection of the Nizwa city. This is the entrance, the main entrance of the Nizwa Fort. And there are 7 defending doors inside. And or call it 7 murder halls.
These are some of the wandering Bedouins that you might visit across. You can incorporate Bedouin home visits as part of your desert camping experience or touring option as well. And you're welcome into their houses. So Sur is the ancient maritime capital for dhows on the coast. So you could choose to stay overnight at Sur if you would like to go down to see the turtles at night or in the morning, as there's a wider range of hotel accommodation in that area. You can also choose to stay at the Turtle Reserve itself. There's an eco-friendly accommodation there. But so there's 5 main species of turtles in the world and 3 visit the shores of Oman.
A noticeable trend that I've been observing is more and more inquiries for small meetings, incentives from Australia. I think companies are still, willing to spend a lot to travel that distance. There's big scope, and this is a truly unique destination.
Our job now is to share the story of Oman, its people, and all its glory.